Shalom, beloved. Welcome to Spark 22, Discovering the Light of Hebrew. I'm Gabriella Powers, and I'm so glad that you could join us for this week's episode. Shalom, beloveds. This week's Hebrew word study, you actually helped me pick out. You guys settled on deceived, or Nasha, or Nasha. Now, make sure that you vote for next week's Hebrew word study too. It's between congregation or serpent. You can go to Spark 22, Discovering the Light of Hebrew on Facebook and find that poll. We would really love your interaction. Now, the word Nasha is coming from Obadiah 1:3 and Genesis 3:13. It has 3 letters. The first letter is Nun, which has a numerical value of 50, which does represent freedom and fullness of life. The Picto-Hebrew actually represents a seed, and it represents the humble one who is bent in submission to Yahuwah. It is the 14th letter of the Hebrew alphabet, so that gives us an allusion to King David, which also gives us an allusion to the Messiah. The second letter, Shin, has a numerical value of 300, which represents divine blessings, divine judgment, or divine protection. It represents teeth, sharp, and press, as well as eat, consume, and destroy. It also represents the changeless essence of Yahuwah inside the changing. Now, the last letter is Aleph. It has a numerical value of 1, and it is a silent letter. The Picto-Hebrew actually shows a picture of an ox, which represents strength. It also represents Yahuwah being both close and far away. And if you look at the middle of the letter, it has a Vav, which represents Yeshua, the divine hook between the heavens and the earth. Now, my question is, what can these 3 letters tell us about what happens when we become deceived? Also, what can these 3 letters give us insight to as far as the spirit of deception? And also, what do these 3 letters tell us about how we can guard ourselves from deception? Spark 22 is a ministry specifically dedicated to bringing Abba's word to the ends of the earth and helping spark deeper understanding by the power of the Holy Spirit into your daily faith lives. If you have been blessed by our ministry to Abba, please consider sowing a love gift into this ministry today to help us continue to be a light to the world. You can donate at www.paypal.me/GaviWarrior. With those 3 questions in mind, let's start putting these together. The first letter, Nun, shows that deception is a seed. It is a seed planted that aims to pollute our freedom and fullness of life in Messiah Yeshua. The second letter, Shin, shows that the seed of deception is as sharp teeth, eating, consuming, and destroying, and its roots aim to disrupt our divine blessings and protection and ultimately bring us into divine judgment. The last letter, Aleph, shows that deception can be silently growing and become strong like an ox. Aleph shows that deception may even create a false sense of being close to Abba when really you're far away from him. So Nasha, or deceive, shows that what happens when we come under its influence is that a seed is sown into our mind that aims to eat, consume, and destroy our freedom and fullness in life through Messiah Yeshua, lead us into judgment, and make us believe we're close to Abba when we aren't. Remember that a seed is small and it gets buried in order to sprout new life. The spirit of deception does the same thing, planting something small in us and burying it beneath the surface until it is fully grown, strong, and bearing fruit. Nasha, however, also shows us how we can protect and guard ourselves from being deceived. Nun shows us that staying humbly bent before Yahuwah will guard you from deception. Shin shows us that staying sharply pressed and focused on Yahuwah's changeless essence within you will guard and protect you from deception. And the last letter, Aleph, shows that being silently dependent on Yeshua, the divine hook between the heavens and the earth, will make you strong and bring you into closer relationship with Yahuwah, guarding and protecting you from deception. So, in conclusion, beloveds, I really want to stress that deception begins as something that is small, like a seed. And just like a seed, if that deception is allowed to stay buried, it will grow and become strong and bear fruit that will appear as it's from Yahuwah, when upon closer examination, it's really evil fruit from the enemy. Guarding ourselves from deception is as simple as staying humble, staying in tune to the Holy Spirit within you, and staying vitally connected to Yeshua. Part of that humility is being teachable, seeking truth, and being willing to let go of and unbury seeds of deception that the Holy Spirit reveals, which He is always faithful to do. A seed of deception will appear to be good and right. The only way to prevent those seeds of deception from being planted and growing is to sharply press yourself further and further into relationship with Yeshua. Your focus must stay on Him. When your focus comes off of Him, you leave your vineyard open and ripe for seeds of deception to be planted. I pray that blesses you, beloveds. I'm sorry about all the noise again. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you for joining us for this week's episode of Spark 22, Discovering the Light of Hebrew. I'm Gabriella Powers, and I would like to invite you to stay tuned for next week's Spark 22 video. If this video blessed you, make sure to hit like and share so others can be blessed as well. If you have any suggestions on how we could do better, or if you'd like to encourage us, make sure to drop a comment below. We'd always love to hear from you. Until next time, I'm Gabriella Powers. Shalom Aleichem.